Hey guys, so I got my bolts, so I'm going to work on this thing. There you go. Got this bolted together. I'm going to take it up to the router table and knock it down with the edge following bit. I'm going to try not to clip the edge of the plastic with the router bit, but I don't think it'll be a problem. There's enough of a space between the two things there, you can see. But I should be able to get it there. Once that's done, I'll mount the wood piece into here, route out the inside, and then I have to do the same again on route out the inside on this one. What I'm going to do with that is I'll mount a bit in the router. That's I'll drill this out to a specific diameter of another bit, and I'll just use that to center it in there, and then I can hard bolt this to this base, and then use that once again like that to route out the inside. Okay, so here we are, ready to rock and roll here. I've got my bit mounted in there. You can see it's just set up just so it'll be just a little bit higher than the top of this thing here. It might catch the edge of this, but I don't think that's going to be a problem because that's the very top of it, and it is kind of a little bit rounded, so it might not be a problem. So I'm just wondering if I can set this thing up anywhere to just do this. Bear in mind, I don't really know what I'm doing here. And I can't remember if I should be feeding it that way into the cutter, because the cutter is spinning that way, or the other way. I know in metal milling terms, climb milling gives you a better finish, but it's much harder on the machine. That also means that it would tend to snatch it against me, but then again, the other way around, if I'm feeding it this way, it's pushing it in the direction that I want it to go. Anyways, we'll work it out. I'm going to turn it that way, see how it goes. Anyways, let's see if I can find a place for this thing. Okay, so that was a little hairier than I would have liked, but it looks like it did a reasonably good job. The bearing at the top must not have been spinning so well, because in some spots it actually nicked up the I don't know if this is acrylic, plexiglass, whatever it is, Lexan, I have no idea. The clear plastic, it nicked into it a bit at times, so I'm guessing the bearing, like right about there, you can see it. But regardless, I've got the outside shaped, so I'm going to mount this to the router base. And we'll try again. Definitely working against the direction of rotation was the way to go, because every time I tried to work it with the direction of rotation, it tried to snatch it. Hopefully you weren't cringing too much when you saw me doing that, because my fingers were a lot closer than I would have liked to have been to that, that router. It's not the ideal way of doing it, I guess. Well, but that's just a pretty common way of doing it, is using templates to route out shapes. Well, we'll do the inside next. Okay, we got that mounted up. We're going to give it a go here. I probably should... it doesn't feel too bad. There's a bit of a lip there, but it's not too big a deal. So we'll do the inside of this, and that's done. Get my glasses, my ear defenders on. And power this puppy up. Well, that was a lot easier and a lot more safe, I'd say. All well and good. Matches it quite nicely. And I don't think I got I might have just gotten just the edge of the inner part of that, of the rigid, well, the router base, but I'm not too worried. Looks okay to me. So now I'll do the plastic piece, and then this whole setup is done. Oh, I was going to mention, you'll notice that when I was rotating it this time around, I realized I had to go in the opposite direction so that I was climb milling. Okay, so I changed my mind about opening up the inner part of the clear plastic here up to the same diameter as the inner part of the router here, because I thought about it and I said, well, how am I going to center it if it's so big other than by eye? Because it did come with this tool that's meant to be dropped in the 1/4-inch collet that's used to center this piece in there, because that's kind of important, since you could put one of the profile following things in here. I can't remember what they're called exactly, but anyways, so it already had a tool to center something, so I just drilled it out to about, I can't remember exactly what, but about 2.5. So this should work fairly well the way it is. Could have made it a little bit smaller, I suppose, but it doesn't matter too much, I don't think. So, last thing to do, holes. So I'm going to get my little threaded pins that I made the other day and put them in here and mark it out after it's centered. There's what I mean about the centering tool. I've actually got it tightly chucked in the 1/4-inch collet, and I've lined everything up. Just so happens that this line here is the line that I used to draw my holes out on. And I'm just lining it up with the middle of that rib there, and so that'll be, I'm assuming that that's about in line with the center line of that as well. Anyways, so now I'm just going to give that just a very light little wrap on each one of those with the mallet, wherever it went. Anyways, I'll find it, do that, and get these drilled out, and then this thing is done. I might give it a quick try. I don't know if I'm quite that daring yet, but we'll see how we go. Okay, there we are. Pretty much done. I don't know what more I need to do to here. I rounded off this edge on either side with about a 3/8-inch rounding bit. I probably could have done a little bit bigger, but I didn't want to take too much meat off. And it's all mounted in place. Tomorrow I'll give it a try. Later, guys.